as this year's class of the Hall of Fame will be inducted this weekend. We take a look at each member of the class and the class as a whole. And Hub, you've seen a lot of these guys play. You've been around this game for a long time. What is your impression of the 2011 class?
Well, I'm embarrassed to admit, guys, I've actually seen them all play, but Les Richter and Chris Hanburger, I was just a young fan. I certainly wasn't a member of the media. I personally have some issues with the way the Veterans Committee, gets to place players into nomination. I'm not commenting one way or the other on whether these guys are Hall of Famers. They were great players. There's no question about that. Being a fairly knowledgeable fan at the time that Hanburger was playing, though, I don't remember him as being the status of a Richard Dent, a Marshall Faulk, a Deion Sanders, a Shannon Sharpe. The modern day players absolutely belong. This is a great class with these four. And you talk about Ed Sabol. Again, this is an issue about how you decide on who's a Hall of Famer. Great contributions to the game, no question about that. Changed the way we all enjoy the National Football League. But should he have a bust alongside the great players and coaches of all time? That I'm not so sure of.
Yeah, obviously a unique position for him. Not a lot of other people you can relate it to in the game. Those four guys you talked about, the most recent players, the Richard Dents and Marshall Faulks, they seem to be the epitome of their position at that time.
Yeah, they really were. Richard Dent was probably the first great pass rusher, along with Reggie White, played in the same era. As far as during sack measurement times. Remember, they didn't measure sacks as an official stat. I think it was 1982, and Richard came into the league in '83. Incredible pass rusher, great against the run, and played on a legendary defense, got the Super Bowl MVP, all the credentials you'd want for the Hall of Fame. Marshall Faulk, stylistically, who does he remind you of? Barry Sanders. And Barry Sanders may be a guy who's a notch better than everybody, but Faulk right there, a Hall of Famer in college, perennial Pro Bowler with the Colts, but then getting married up with that Mike Martz system in St. Louis, that was the Hall of Fame for sure. Deion Sanders, part of the argument, maybe the greatest athlete to ever play the game, along with a Jim Thorpe, a Bo Jackson, a Walter Payton. I mean, the things that this guy did, we all know, played Major League Baseball. And as a lockdown cover corner, maybe the best ever. My problem with Deion Sanders, the next tackle he makes will be the first, but no question he's a Hall of Famer. And Shannon Sharpe, now again, a complete tight end. People don't realize that Sharpe was a pretty good tight end, but he's here because of his receptions, and he was the first of the tight ends who were piling up the 80, 90, 100 catch seasons.
That is a quick look at all of this year's inductees. For a more in-depth look of everyone involved, be sure to check it out at ProFootballWeekly.com.